Expedition Overland's Great Pursuit is proudly presented by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. In association with Patriot Campers and P-Core Systems. In part by Stanley. Warn. Icon Vehicle Dynamics. Maxtrax. Garmin. CBI Off-Road Fabrication. Equipped. Aviator Paramotor. The Power of Red Arc. Magpul. We are on the first few miles of the famous Whipsaw Trail in British Columbia. A trail set up for off-road driving in Canada. It's about 70 miles long, and allegedly, it has just about everything, from hill climbs to crawl spots and mud, depending on the time of year. We shall find out for ourselves.
Almost not fun because you just get to... We are in Canada, starting our border-to-border trip. I know it's day one, but it's gonna be freaking hard to beat this one. So I got up early before the alarms and coming to check it out. Oh man, I'm glad I can bring you with me. I feel super blessed to be on this trip. Thank you, Clay and the XO team, for bringing me along. This is a trip of a lifetime here. Good morning, gorgeous. How'd you sleep?
Oh, nice and cold.
Yeah. It's a refrigerator out here.
It's a good thing I brought my summer bag.
Yeah.
How'd you sleep?
I slept well. You look amazing. I still have my eye makeup on. I woke up like this. Don't tell anyone. But I brought my flat iron. And I also heard that somebody else brought a hair tool on this trip. And it wasn't Rochelle.
Pretend that the lens is your best friend.
I'm like, no one's here.
Yep.
What I like about Overland is like you get to travel around the world in cool trucks, and we had this new truck called the Gladiator named Odin, and that's one of my favorite trucks Overland has built, and I'm having lots of fun on this trip. And yeah, that's about it.
Onto this trail yesterday, it just smelled like home.
We have wanted to do the Whipsaw for years now. It's been a backup trail for us on our Alaska Yukon expedition and for the return of the McKinsey expedition, if it had turned out to be easy. So anyway, needless to say, it's great to finally be here.
Here we go. Great day today, guys. We have 30 miles approximately as our goal on the Whipsaw today. So 30 miles. We'll be on the trail all day. We expect conditions about like this. And really, we're just going to be looking for a good shutdown spot around evening to make camp again.
The greatest thing about doing a trail like this is that we can put the new Gladiator to the test. And I'm itching for a challenge.
Gladiator up that bad boy. All right, I want to give it a go.
This obstacle has a sharp breakover, so we'll have to see how we can navigate that with the Gladiator's long wheelbase. Good thing I have Kurt, an avid rock crawler, to spot me.
Crawl it. Okay, gonna bring it a tiny bit this way. Right there. Just hold that line. And this side's gonna come up. Once it does, you're gonna turn back into it a little bit faster. Just crawl it right there. Crawl, crawl, crawl. Okay, there you are. Good. Hold that line. Good line. Bring in a little driver. Go. Crawl it, crawl it, crawl it. Okay, looking good. Crawl it. Bring in a little passenger. Right there, hold. Just nice and slow. Back's gonna start to climb. Right now. Bring it a little bit driver's side. Okay, hold that right there. Let me look.
Well, welcome to the Great Pursuit. That's the name of the trip that we've decided to call this. It's a Great Pursuit. And it's the Great Pursuit because we're looking for a lot of things. And I'm trying to boil down why we do all of this stuff. For a long time I had a vision to do the Pan American. Since we've completed the Pan American, I gotta be honest, there's been this struggle to identify the next thing, what we want. And it became the question, what do we want? And I guess it came down to that it's not really anything that we want, it is the act of the pursuit of adventure. Because when we pursue adventure, it exposes so much about ourselves that it becomes almost like a drug, that you need it to keep learning about yourself and who you are. At least it is for me. That may not be for everybody, but that's me.
So Kurt, what are you thinking?
We're gonna air down. We still have about 28, 25 PSI in there. I don't remember where they got set to. So we're gonna air down a bit more and it'll crawl. It was going good, had a good line, just the back end popped off. So if we air down, I think it'll hold.
Back keeps slipping to the left towards driver's side, and we're a little bit off track because it has such a long wheelbase. Now like one of the big boulders is directly underneath the frame. We don't have a belly pan on it, so we're really hoping that it gets it this time. It can pop up and get good traction with the lower PSI on the tires, because if that slips off on this attempt, we might be banging pretty hard.
There you go.
Hopefully not.
Come on, stop. All right, we slipped out. Gosh dang.
So we're throwing a max tracks behind the rear here just in case he needs to start coming back. We're not going to shove our hitch into the dirt already worse than it is. We want to just kind of prevent the back end from being trapped here so we can still climb out. So that's where we're at. Why don't we pull the trailer forward, and then I'll pull the Tundra in back up here. We'll pull back around and nose down.
We just tried mass tracks. Now what is left is winch.
Yep, they're going for the winch.
And this was a pretty aggressive obstacle to try and tackle, but that's why we wanted to do it. We wanted to see what it was capable of. So we're learning. That's the best way. Go test it. Go put it in its, get it in a pickle in a controlled manner, and then figure it out. And you learn so much stuff so fast. So right now though, we have made the decision to get a winch out. And we just need a little bit. Doesn't need much. But a winch in this situation is the best option because it's very controlled. We're not having to get on the throttle and work it and spin and possibly shift and do all that stuff. A winch can allow the vehicle to just inch forward under a very controlled set of circumstances. So I think we'll be out of here in no time.
The long wheelbase is the Gladiator's weak point as it pertains to trail performance. Now we know what that looks like and feels like for next time.
Don't hit me.
That was good. Level 1 complete. So, all right, well, let's keep moving, eh? One of the great aspects of having new people on our trips is to see them take on new skills and learn to thrive in a new environment, especially when they are outside of their comfort zone.
Over the last few years, I've really wanted to see myself. I wanted to see a woman in the overlanding community, or more women in the overlanding community being really visible. And yeah, I actually approached Clay at an overland event in the US, and looking back on it now, I feel like I was a little bit aggressive, but I kind of like marched up to him and I was like, Clay, you need more women on your show. I don't know why I was so kind of aggressive about it, but I'm just really, really pleased to be here and, you know, give a kind of voice to the women out there that drive trucks and like to spend time outdoors. And same thing with cooking too. Like, obviously I love providing food for the crew and I love the cooking aspect, but it's not my only role.
Saddle up.
There's nothing like being thrown in the deep
This is
end.
all you.
And that's just what we've done with Ashley.
Okay,
All right. You ready?
would you like someone with you? Yes, please.
After a quick briefing of the vehicle, there's only one thing left to do: drive.
Gonna crush it. Let's do it. Yep, so just keep your eye on Clay.
Okay, locker. Good. Little passenger.
Passenger.
Okay, little driver now. Turn little driver. Stay straight. Keep coming. That's a good line right there. Nice and easy. Little driver. Come up on the rear. There we go. Nice and easy.
Get out of the way!
There we go. Little more. You got it. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Side, get out of the way.
I'm okay now, I guess.
Yeah, you did.
For this.
The Jeep has incredible trail capabilities, and it made that look easy.
Nice work. We'll show you how.
So how'd your wife do?
She did great. That's the first time she would have ever done anything as technical as that. 100%.
Shelley takes on the obstacle with a bit more of a challenge, towing a trailer and only being on 33-inch tires.
All right, do I have Clay up there to spot?
He is coming down.
I was thinking that left.
We'll try this one.
Okay.
This tire can't get down into that rut.
Okay.
A front locker would be beneficial here. If you don't have traction, you need momentum. And carrying momentum into a technical spot like this can get exciting.
It's working. Yeah. See if you can just crawl it.
Back into it.
Back into it and let crawl control do its job.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm not touching it.
A little power, just a little. Good. Okay, trailer's coming up. Good. Center dip block. Center dip.
Now that is some good driving.
Whew. That was a doozy. Holy cow. It's been a really challenging couple years. 2018 and 2019 have been really challenging for Clay and I.
There's just been a lot of change and a lot of transition, which is life. This is what life is. It's never going to be the same. Clay and I lost a really dear friend. Still raw. And he's the reason we have our shop. And it really made us hit the brakes. Travis lived every day of his life to the fullest. And I would like to say the same for myself. So it's good to be out here doing new things, being uncomfortable, dealing with mosquitoes. And I want to do more of that. And it's good. It's a good thing. So
How was that, Rochelle?
That was hard. I think that's the hardest thing I've taken that up in a long time.
Your car was in the air and just woo! But you stayed in it just fine.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Next is our Tundra, the largest and heaviest vehicle, but is equipped this season with dual lockers front and rear. The benefits of that upgrades are clear here, as Ty flawlessly executes a strong line.
Okay, right there. Roll it up. Nice. Hold that. Hold that. Pop up, and it's going to come nicely. Roll it, brother. Bring it my way. Bring it my way. Right there. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Okay. Let me hop out of the way. Get back here. Nice work. Thank you, sir. Next. Nice.
The trail is slow, and today's miles is taking most of the day to hit.
Go for it.
Good.
Brian is also new to wheeling, and he's also in the deep end. This is a big boost to his experience. Brian is learning why you want to keep that momentum right now. The breakover angle between a vehicle and a trailer is another aspect to consider when towing in technical terrain.
It's not good that you stuffed it, but we got to sort it out now. Yeah. I don't even know what that means, but I think it's bad, so.
To keep the front of the trailer off the obstacle, we use the airbags to lift that side of the trailer to gain as much clearance as possible. It mostly worked.
You happy there? Little Baja bump? Yep. Yep. All right. Here we go. Okay. Go. Yep. There. There. Perfect. That's that side. Good. Nice. Beauty. Woo!
Samson drug its trailer light plug earlier on the trail and completely broke it off. This was still plugged in,
the cord's just dangling over there, so we have no trailer lights, no trailer brakes, which is not a good thing. So I'm gonna take this apart, and the thing is that we actually have an extension cord with another one of these plugged together. So I'm gonna basically swap them, get a new plug to plug in a Samsung, take this piece out, put it where the extension cord plugs in, because the cord the way it is won't reach, and hopefully have a nice quick fix and get all of our trailer lights back, so when we hit pavement we will be all right. So this trip's been about a lot of firsts for me. I'm new to the crew, so it's a first time really getting to know everybody. Being on a big trip like this, it's been really eye-opening because I've never done anything quite this big before, and being a part of the crew, it's a real humbling experience, and I feel very fortunate to be here. As I had been working an inside job for 8+ years and been really yearning to get back out and do something different every day, and so I feel very fortunate to have this opportunity to be out and pursue adventure. So left turn when you're ready. Okay?
Right turn?
Yep.
All good? Sweet. Cool.
Awesome. Easy. Got it all.
Hey, good morning. We're just about to head out. Excited, had a really good breakfast.
No, to me, look at my eyes.
Can't see your eyes behind the viewfinder, Richard.
The viewfinder.
Rick Hard. Good morning. Time to get up.
All right, so today's goal, we have about 12 to 14 miles. A little hard to say because of the undulations, all the weaves in the trail. So 12, 15 miles, which is about what we did yesterday. In fact, we did 14, what was the number? 14.77 miles all day yesterday. So it could be a similar day. We're getting a little earlier start, maybe take a little shorter lunch, and we'll be off the trail by this afternoon.
We do have a long ways to go. We're going to try to make it all the way to Salt Lake by the end of this next 10 days. So vehicle sympathy through this. I think we were doing a good job yesterday. Just keep it up. You just can't have anything break on the long term as well. So go slow. Just stay out of the gas. Be methodical with your moves, and we'll be fine.
Sounds good.
We have traveled just a few miles out of camp, and we've been anticipating a challenging day. When all of a sudden here, the Whipsaw encounters a logging road. A road not on the map, as it's very recently developed. Forestry is one of Canada's biggest industries. We have seen it before as the outside world interacts with the trail systems of the past, but it all goes to show that if you want to go see it, now is the time. The only certain thing in this life is change.
Gonna drop down the hill here, and we're gonna arrive in the Granite Creek ghost town. Looks like a fun spot to check out. Kind of one that everyone recommended you do when you come to the Whipsaw. That if you start, you check it out when you start, or if you come the direction we did clockwise, you stop by Granite Creek when you finish the trail. We found ourselves a trail behind us. Now we're gonna check out the ghost town.
So how much gold?
Well, just in 1886, there's $193,000 worth of gold, but they say it was probably a lot higher, which is millions and millions and millions of dollars today. That's awesome. That's really cool.
You think, Cyrus, you want to live in here?
No. No, when
It's a little spooky. Oh, look. There's a hole right up there.
That's probably where the stovepipe was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what I'm thinking too.
Or a meteor came in with like.
Or a meteor.
We stop at the bottom of the trail at the old ghost town of Granite Creek. A great place to let the boys' imagination run.
Hey, do you want to turn? Okay, let's see. So right now there's supposed to be a bridge, but no bridge. It's up water and rocks. Wolves Den. That's cool. Perfect.
Tanner.
A little side door.
Checkups are done. You're next, Richard.
We head east toward our entry point into the U.S. But we aren't one for taking the same way twice, if we can help it. So we make a slight detour to see some new country.
Did you see the boat? We're gonna go on it.
Hey. Very shaky.
It is. Just wait till we start rolling.
Oh boy.
This is the first time you've been on a ferry, Si?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's cool.
Shelly and I are having an awesome time with our boys on this trip. It's been a long time coming, and a big goal for us to travel with our kids. And this, I think, is the start of something great.
Feels so adventurous. We had no idea that we were going to be coming this way. We finished the trail early, come this way, make a new plan. This is some of the best parts of overland travel. It may not be off-road or on the dirt 100% of the time, but the whole idea is just to go travel and see the world.
We're home, it feels like.
Yeah, it does.
Feels like summer just started.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got that smell in the air. And beautiful nighttime.
This trip specifically for me, I feel a need to be recentered. Just spending some time really looking deep, and I have a tendency to be concerned about what other people are thinking or doing around me and as it relates to me. It's all in here, you know? And so if this trip were to do anything for me, it would be, I would find a freedom from that. Find a freedom from being concerned about what people think or say about me.
Here and throw a rock across.
To me, ferries are so much fun. I'm glad everyone got to experience this. But with night approaching, we will have to find a camp spot on the fly.
Hard landings. We've coined the term hard landings years ago on landing in a place where you have no idea where you're going to be camping until pretty much the very second that you get there. Sometimes they work out great, sometimes they take a lot of work, but what we tend to do is say over the radio when this is happening that, hey, we're going to have a hard landing, and that prepares everybody's minds for what's about to happen, so people can have the best attitude towards crawling into bed late and in some place they've never seen before.
It's our final morning in Canada, and one of the greatest places to travel in my book. Now, I haven't even left, and I'm missing this place.
It's a pretty cool spot, huh?
Today we are headed for the border. The goal tonight is to get a test flight in on our newly recarbureted systems. We threw the carbs back on and this was just very last minute decision, kind of a safety call. Threw them back on, and to let the thread lock cure, we weren't able to start them and let them run or do any testing before we left. We just threw them on the trailer and said, you know, if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. So they're sitting on the trailer at a friend's house outside of Kalispell, back in the old US of A. My heart yearns for it. I long for the freedom of America.
Our border crossing goes smooth, and the boys at the border said welcome home.
got the toy hauler, picked it up from Buddy's place up in Kalispell, and now we're cruising around looking for a campsite. We've been changing our plans a lot in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours on where to land. And then we got down here and the campground that we were targeting was full. Then we went to another area and it's full. Sometimes that's how it goes when you change plans. I mean, it could have happened without changing plans, but you just get rocked a little bit, and now we're just scrambling to find a campsite. We're trying to get in so that we can have a kind of a night off. We've been traveling pretty hard for 5 days, but this can become a trying time in any camping trip or overland trip when it's just not sorting out. For me, what you need to do is just realize that you can't do anything about it, and you just got to keep working through the problem. Look at your resources, look at your maps, and re-evaluate for a second and be like, hey, at least I'm out here getting to do this stuff. Even though I'm frustrated, it's still a great place to be. I like that.
With the last hour of light left, we set up camp and the boys finally get to twist a wrist on the new bike. It's been great to see these boys stretch their wings, as we have been working on stretching ours.
Time has arrived to test our carburetor install. We haven't run these since we left the shop. So we're back to carburetors, back to being test pilots for a minute. We got to get these systems up and running so we can start our flight. Just get going on our flights. Priorities have changed quite a bit. Stress has come down, safety factor's gone way up. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm actually having a lot more fun because of that stress coming down. And it's allowing me, and I think the other guys, to just focus on being good flyers and seeing the country in a really cool way in great spots. So hopefully we can get them running tonight and we can go in the morning. Oh, that's it.
Oh, Ryder's got the magic touch.
So when you hear it fire up, you don't pull it anymore.
It feels like we just came off of a big trip, running that far out to the Whipsaw. But we have a long way to go, and frankly, we've only just begun. Thankfully, everything seems to be running well. Or so we thought. Help us fuel the adventure by checking out xoverland.com and picking up some merchandise.